What up, guys? It is Monday, the. Hold on a second, let me see what day it is. The 8th of July. And I had a guide trip last night on Canyon Lake. So, it was this kid, he's like 23 or 24 years old. Super successful Bitcoin guy. So, kind of an interesting thing because my normal client is like 65-year-old male retired. But had a blast last night. It was incredible. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened and how it went, et cetera, what we did. So we got out at like 6, or we were supposed to meet at like 5:30 p.m. Or we were supposed to meet at 6 and we met at 5:30. That's what happened. But I was there at like 3 o'clock driving around looking for fish on my fish finder. And I've got it down now where I just drive over it, click, 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 look at it, no fish, fish, and then leave it alone. Mark it if there's fish, come back, catch them. So like I ran around to like 10 different spots and marked a whole bunch of fish, and we went out. Um, Mainly the spots that I were marking were over here, in this area, offshore, and near the river channel and stuff. So anyway, we go out there, and I've got like probably 4 or 5 spots that have fish on them that I had driven over that I knew for sure they were bass. And we start throwing out like the first waypoint we throw out, boom. I throw out that well he was throwing I had him tied on with a drop shot and probably like a 12-inch leader or something, and it was a like a fluke, but it was a drop shot fluke, not the super fluke, but the standard fluke. Throw it out there, hits the water where the marker is. He catches one, boom, right off the bat. I'm like, hell yeah! Second cast, I think it was the second cast. He catches one, and the one he caught was I'll show you a picture of it. So this is the picture here of him with his bass. I don't know how well you can see it, but anyways, he catches one second cast. I'm like, hell yeah! We fish the next spot, throw it out there. He catches another one. We're both using spinning rods. I throw out. Oh, we go to the third spot. I'm like, dude, this is a big fish spot. He's like, all right. We'll go out to the third spot. It was like all rocks, like submerged rocks, deep rocks on a break line where it goes from like, I don't know, like 15 foot to like 30 feet. I throw out that drop shot. I'm just letting it sit, and I feel this little tick. I'm like, oh shit, that's a good one. Boom! I hit this fish hard. I'm reeling this fish, reeling it, reeling it, reeling it. I get it close to the boat, and my drag was set too freaking tight. And as a professional, I should know better. That was screwed up. And I get him next to the boat, and he's a freaking biggin. I'm like, ah. So he freaking makes a run next to the boat and snaps off the line. Just snaps it off. I mean, it was 8 pound test, and it was too short of the line out, and I didn't adjust my drag quick enough, and it was just stupid mistake, man. Rookie mistake. So that sucked because that was a really good fish. But I'm like, all right, we're on a roll here, whatever. So we go to one of the marinas. The marina we went to was like this one over here. So we go to the marina and we're like looking around. I threw a top water for a little bit, and then we found these lights over there. We're like watching the fish. We were watching the fish down there, and I see this bass that's freaking, I don't know, like, I don't know. He's probably as long as this freaking uh, little sawed off piece of rod that I have. I mean, just a giant. And I'm like throwing everything. At first, I threw the like a purple dark worm on the light Texas rig out there into this light, and I'm like watching these fish. There's a few bass, whatever, but that one specifically. But the problem is like if the water's not super deep, or sorry, if the water is deep and the fish are suspended, let's say it's 100 foot deep to be exaggerated, but the fish are like in 10 feet. The time that your bait stays in front of the fish is from 0 to 10. So that worm, when you throw it out, it sinks real quick, and that's the only time that they have to strike it. But if you could leave the lure in front of their face longer at that 10-foot line, then you're much more likely to get a bite. So I'm like, all right, I put the black worm down because I'm like, all right, if it was like 5 to 10 foot deep or 10 foot deep, I could work that worm on the bottom if they're at 10 foot or whatever. I could work that worm in the bottom and they'll hit it. But since they were suspended over deep water, I had to throw something like I said that's gonna stay suspended. So I threw like a fluke out there, and I'm like just twitch twitch, and it's just sinking, twitch twitch twitch, sinking, and they kept going up to it like just the one big one like goes up to it, looks at it, turns around and swims back under the boat. I'm like, jeez. So then I'm like, all right. So I pull out a drop shot, and I'm just sitting right over the top of them, super super quiet, and I'm just jigging this drop shot, just tick 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 tick, tick, jigging this thing, and all these fish are coming up and looking at it and rolling over. I'm like, oh my god. That one, he swims out, he looks at it again, turns around. I'm like, this freaking fish is smart. So we sit there basically molesting these fish for like, I don't know, an hour or whatever, just looking at these couple different lights, trying to mess around with them. Couldn't get them. We had like 2 bites. They wouldn't commit to it though. They're just so smart, and I couldn't help but think, they're just sitting there. They get fish for all the time, guarantee it. That fish I felt like was a resident fish. That big one, he lives there, and he didn't get big by being stupid. So I have to figure out what I can do to catch him. But anyways, so that was a interesting thing. I really want to go back out there tonight, to be honest, because I'm just so hyped on the big fish that I saw. Um, and I don't know if it makes a difference if I go by myself and I'm more quiet or what, but I know that they're in there. So then we drove out of the marina or whatever, and let me see if I can show where we ended up going. Oh yeah, we go over by the dam over here, and we're fishing some of these little points and stuff. Throw my top water, whatever, and then I started throwing that black worm. Of course, we're catching them, and I catch like this like decent little 1-2 pound fish, whatever. Um, Here, let me show you this little one right here. I don't know how clear that is or not. Sorry if it's not clear. So I catch that one. We're getting a few bites. I think he had 1 or 2 that came off or something. Um, so then we're like, okay, we're gonna go fish um, over here off these points and stuff. So we're fishing this area over here, and freaking he throws in there with his black worm. It's like 12:30 at night. He throws in there with his black worm, and we're like barely dragging it, and he's like, I think I'm hung up. And I look at his rod tip, and it's like it's just pulling, and I'm like, oh my god. So he sets the hook on the spinning rod, and this thing comes out of the water, and it's a freaking beast, dude. It is a freaking beast. I'm like, holy shit. So it ends up being like a big one, and of course it comes off. And I check his hook, and I sharpen my hooks every single time I check them. Check his hook, it was sharp, everything. It just came off. So I'm like, that's 2 opportunities in one night to catch a big one, and it would make me look really good. I mean, it made me look good anyway because I put him on the fish, but it was just like, dude, it could have been so much better. Um, but it was good. I'm learning a lot right now, and I've been doing this for a long time, obviously, but even I'm seeing things so much different now. And it's like now I feel like I understand trophy hunting a lot better. Like I understand what it's required, like what's required of me to be able to catch big fish. Like what do I need to do to line up and catch a big fish? So, anyways, that's kind of what I was doing. I was fishing slow most of the night and stuff, and it was just a lot of fish that were real finicky. But the feeding window, I think the best feeding window was between like maybe like 10 and 11 p.m. And then there was another one around that 12:30, where he caught that bigger one. But because we were getting multiple bites in that area, but they're just really super smart. And I'm just thinking, I've been going over that area a lot at night throwing the same bait. I may go over there tonight, and if it's got a little bit of wind, I may slow roll like a spinner bait or something. Or I'm gonna do something different to try to trigger those fish to bite in there, because I know that if I do the same thing, and they've been living there, they're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna fall for that. So I gotta do something different tonight if I go. But but yeah, man, I'm just fishing deep water, close to shallow water, and offshore, until about like this till the sun starts setting. After the sun starts setting, I move offshore from offshore to inshore and I start fishing like banks, like steep cut banks, where there's shallow to deep. And I do that. But the main thing that I can't stress enough is if you don't see bait fish in the water and you don't see activity, you need to move immediately. There's just no reason at all. If it's calm and still and you don't hear anything and you don't see any action on the water, you need to move. And so that's like the most massive tip that I can give to anybody. If you didn't have a fish finder, you had nothing, and you were just looking for fish in a primitive way, all you have to do is follow nature and follow life around the lake. And if you see that there's birds or bait or anything, you're going to catch fish if you're in the right area like that. So that's kind of what happened last night. I wish I had some badass pictures to show you guys of these couple fish that we had on that came off. The one that broke my line and then the one that, he had jump off, whatever. But dude, I mean, it's fishing. I mean, it's part of it. And if you don't have the guts to go do it and then keep coming back out, you can't expect for it to come, fall your way and for it to happen one time. You just gotta overcome that crap. So it was fun, man. I mean, I made a great new friend, and we're gonna go out again and do it again. But yeah, I mean, incredible. So hopefully you can get some information from this. In the shallow to deep areas that I was fishing, it was I was fishing a lot of like flooded trees, but not like super stout trees, more like with wispy like stuff on them, like bushes, kind of like flooded bushes that were deeper. And I was throwing my dark colored worms and all that, and it was just I would look for areas where there was a channel swing, very obvious channel swing where the channel came in and touched the bank, and there was like I said minnows and stuff and a lot of activity. So back in that marina, the only area where I saw activity were on those lights. I really didn't see in the normal area that I fish over by the restaurant. There's like this boat dock that has lights on it, but I didn't really see any bait fish. And I'm like, man, we need to get the hell out of here. I told the guy. So, but I just feel like I'm kind of getting back to where I used to be with my, that sixth sense where you're just like, you have that instinct and all that. And it's hard when you're in an air conditioned house and you're, living a domestic, suburban lifestyle. It's hard to be really hardcore, like have those instincts. But now that I'm going out there a lot more and I'm out there, multiple times per week with clients, it freaking makes it super a lot better. So, the more clients I get, the more I'm on the water, the better I get, the more clients I generate. It's just like this, it just keeps building and building and building. So I got to be out there a lot. But anyway, like I said, hopefully you learned something from this. But yeah, tune in next time because I'm going to have another fishing report. I may even have one tonight. So thanks. Take care.